Hi everyone, Alvine here. Welcome to Witchy Book Reviews. Now I have to say quickly before we begin, excuse any noises that are happening in the background. It is school holiday, things are crazy, I'm drying, washing right now and life is happening. So today I'm going to be talking to you about Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, which was written by Scott Cunningham, none other than. Now this is one of those brilliant reference books. You know how you have books that you learn from, that you'll pick up and kind of read and get the chunks from and maybe come back to certain areas of the book. And then you have reference books, books that you pick up over and over again because they have those little bits of information that you access all the time. This is one of those, right? I don't know if that was a good description of what a reference book is, but anyway, you know what I mean. So this is one that I use actually all the time. I was resistant to kind of getting it at first. I was just like, oh, but then I actually received this book from somebody and I use it all the time. It's brilliant. So there is a couple of sections in the start that kind of go through some other bits and bits. Hang on, let me show you. Let me see so I can show you. So we've got the power of herbs. He kind of talks a little bit about, the general nature of herbology, and then magical ways. So he talks a little bit about, timing and tools, the altar, visualization, just a couple of little paragraphs on each of those. And then he kind of goes through some spells and procedures, so how to enchant herbs, attuning to herbs that you're working with and plants, and then, making sachets, poppets, etc. So just a little bit on that. And then, magical intentions. So he talks a little bit about those. So, healing, hex breaking, luck, magic, that kind of thing. And then from page, let me tell you, 23, we get into the chunk of the book, which is all about magical herbs. So all of everything here, all of this is just all herb. So I'll give you an example of that's sort of what the pages look like. So there'll be a section which will have, well, the heading actually is over here. This is not a good one to show you. Let me show you this one up here. So it's on the one page. We've got the name of the herb, and then it has its scientific name or biological name. Yep, something like that. Anyway, its official name. And then we have a folk name, and then it has, this one doesn't, but if it has a gender, energetic gender assigned to it, it'll tell you what that is. Sometimes it gives you the planets as well that it's associated with, the elements, the deities, whatever information there kind of is on that. And then it will go through the powers. So this is Job's tiers. So for this one, its powers are healing, wishes, and luck. So those are kind of the intentions that are aligned with it. And then it will go through a section on magical uses. Now the section on magical uses is awesome because it gives you some ideas on what you can actually use those herbs for. It gives you other, spell ideas and that kind of thing. So that's really cool too. So most of the herbs that I use are in this book somewhere. There are herbs I use that I haven't been able to find in here, which is fine, I can find that information elsewhere. But yeah, most of them are in here. There is a good selection of herbs in here, which is very cool. And one of my favorite parts about this book, let me just find it for you, and this is the section that I probably use the most, I would say, is this little part at the back. Now this has magical intentions, so it'll have to attain courage, to raise the dead, to increase fertility, to promote healing. There's some to open locks, all this kind of thing. So just different things, breaking hexes, etc. And then it will have a list of a whole bunch of herbs underneath each magical intention. So if you're wanting to do a spell for, one of these kinds of things, you look in the back and search for an intention that, closely aligns to what you're trying to do. And then you've got a list of herbs right there, bang. And what I find this really handy for is like, if I'm kind of creating a spell and I'm just wanting to quickly look up a couple of herbs, and I can look through and go, yep, I've got that, sweet, and can kind of go from there. Now, one thing I will say with using herbs, and this is like not really to do with the book, but I think it is important to to connect with plants ourselves, like to spend some time with them and get a feel for their energy, to kind of feel what they are for us, you know, to commune with the plants, rather than just purely picking up a book and reading what other people have to say, actually spending that time getting to know the plant ourselves. But I find this goes really well hand in hand with that. So I will get a certain vibe about a herb or a certain energy from that herb, and then I'll look it up, and oftentimes, it's interesting to me, oftentimes they actually do relate, you know, they do correlate, and I go, oh, that's actually what that's used for. So, you know, if I'm going to do a spell on healing, say, like for healing, sorry, you know, I'll intuitively think of the herbs that I want to use, and then I'll actually just double check for my own reference. I'll double check them through here, and most of the time they align, you know, so I find that kind of interesting too. So this is definitely a book I would recommend. It's a fantastic reference book, no matter where you are on your path. If you are just beginning and you're wanting to kind of learn about magical herbs, definitely grab this book. And if you're further along this path and on the path, it's just a wonderful book to have around you, you know, like I flick through it frequently, and get a lot of mileage out of this book. I'll be sharing some more reference books that I frequently use. I'm really sorry about this noise. And there's another noise. Okay. So I will be sharing other reference books that I have as well that I frequently use. At the moment there are like 4 of them, including this book, that I frequently flick through, and I think they could be really helpful, you know, just so you guys know. You might already have them already, but they're ones that, you know, are quite handy to have around and just to have a quick flick through. They're nice to just read through them as well, although, you know, with chunks of information like this, the other books are set out differently, but with chunks of information, you know, it's not stuff you're going to retain necessarily. But yeah, really brilliant book. I definitely recommend this one. If you've read it, I would love to hear what you thought about it and what your experiences are. Do you use it much? Do you not? And if you have any suggestions for the channel, for us, of books that you would like to see reviewed, leave those down below as well, and we will get to those at some point, and if we have them in our collections, we will get to them ASAP. Wishing you guys so much love and many, many blessings, and I will see you in the next book review.